Today we're going to mix media, making a wintry landscape collage with drawn elements. To start, I'm going to make just a colorful sky background, and to do that, I'm putting chalk onto a piece of scrap paper. Then I use a tissue to brush the chalk dust off of my scrap paper onto the black paper that I'm going to use for my background sort of night sky. And I'm just doing that over and over again to make it nice and colorful, filling the entire paper. Next, I'm going to make a horizon line. So I'm going to use a piece of interesting patterned paper, and I just ripped it to make a ground. I don't need it to be perfectly even. The real ground tends not to be. Now, as I cut out my tree shape, I cut just sort of a bubble cut around the top of it where the canopy of leaves might be, and then I cut away segments in between the branches. That's a strategy I find to be a lot easier than trying to cut out all the branches in one. Now, one of the most common mistakes that students make is they look at their paper and think it has to look exactly like the real thing as they're making their collage. But when I make a collage, I'm looking for interesting colors and textures and patterns, and the overall shape and seeing all of the different shapes in relationship to each other will help to make the image more recognizable. Having unexpected patterns, colors, and textures is what makes a collage so nice. If I wanted it to be exactly what a real tree looks like or exactly what a real snow-covered ground looks like, I would paint or draw or do something else to make it look more realistic. One of the nice things about collage is using these different things that become almost sort of symbolic of trees and ground and stuff like that. It allows you to add surprising little unexpected details that grab people's attention and make it more interesting. Of course, you could also make evergreen trees, and for that I just use a brown stump. And then I find it easiest to fold a green paper and cut along that fold, just a zigzag sort of a shape. The next thing I'm going to do is make a snowman. So on a separate sheet of paper, I am going to draw a snowman using black and white oil pastels. I start off at the outside edge with the white, so it mixes in with a little bit of black and gets lighter and lighter as it goes in towards the middle. Then, of course, I'm going to add details like the eyes and mouth and buttons and stuff like that. After that, I'm going to carefully cut out my snowman, and I'm going to glue it onto the background that I've already made. Next, I'm going to think about other accessories I can add. I'm going to cut out stick arms for my snowman. I might cut out a hat, a scarf, anything along those lines. Of course, you should feel free to be creative. You could add all sorts of other elements. You could add animals, you could add elves, you could make a penguin, a polar bear, you could make a penguin and a polar bear building a snowman. You could make a snowman, snow woman, snow family, snow animals. Whatever you would like, be creative and make your work unique. Now, of course, you could be done just after you've made your snowman and a horizon line, but the difference between a good artist and a great artist is a great artist doesn't look at their work and ask, can it be done? A great artist looks at their work and asks, can it be better? So always look for opportunities to make your work better instead of looking for opportunities to call it finished. Little subtle details will help to make it more interesting. I repeated the paper from the ground in the hat, and I'm going to use that for the moon as well. That helps to unify my composition by having the same thing repeated in different areas.